the attack on the Daily Star and the Pratham Alo, it was not the attack on the media. It was attack on the one of the power stakeholders by another power stakeholders. They must be blamed. Let me clarify. If this regime is failed, it will be their collective failure. It is an administration of designed and dreamed by Pratham Alo, Daily Star, BNP, Jamaat Islami, and all anti-Sheikh Hasina forces. So credit and discredit of this regime must be owned by them, all of them.
Do you think that overnight this situation will change?
Because they are lying to themselves. When Mutiur Rahman was telling to the public in the event yesterday, he mentioned also national consensus, but he did not mention it is an urgent to include Awami League or to have an inclusive election. Without inclusive elections, how one can dream to have national consensus and develop the situation? That is their political agenda. And why the fanatics people attract on the Daily Star and Pratham Alo? Because they are assuming Pratham Alo and Daily Star are playing a role, diplomatic role and media role to bring BNP in power.
Hi, I'm Pratim Ranjan Bose and you are watching Podcast with Pratim. I have with me Bengali-Swedish poet and playwright Anisur Rahman. Anisur has been here on this platform a couple of times. He is joining me from Sweden. Anisur, we are aware about the situation in Bangladesh. The two top papers, they are attacked, Daily Star and Pratham Alo. And yesterday, Daily Star editor said that forget about expressing opinion, it has become difficult to live. Quite prophetic, I must say, because that there is no situation for expressing opinion has been felt for some time. So in May of this year, Mr. Mahfouz Awnam, the editor of Daily Star, so he requested Dr. Yunus to stay. And now they are reposing faith on BNP, almost as a messiah, that if BNP comes and Pratham Alo editor, Mr. Mutiur Rahman said that had Tariq Rahman been here early, then things could have been better. So what do you suggest? Is this a late realization? Everyone could see that Islamists are taking upper hand, that the government is sticking to power at the support of Islamists, and the government didn't want election. Now, New Age editor Mr. Nurul Kabir is saying the same thing. So, I'm not saying that he did not say he did not advocate about early election, but I'm only saying that what we all felt. So, what is your reading out of it?
Let me clarify first. The attack on the Daily Star and the Pratham Alo, it was not the attack on the media. It was attack on the one of the power stakeholders by another power stakeholders. Daily Star and Pratham Alo's agenda is not only to implement the media outreach, at the same time, in the name of media, they are involved in power politics. And after the fall of previous regime led by Sheikh Hasina, they had a common point to come in consensus. All these anti-Awami League, anti-Sheikh Hasina stakeholders. Those are Pratham Alo Daily Star is one of them, and all the not all the majority Islamist parties, majority Beijing-bound leftist political forces, and the so-called Western patronized civil societies. And there is a blame against Pratham Alo. They have a capacity to make a rat into an elephant through their propaganda, through their mission. And a good number of those elephants are in the power machinery now. And let me point out, you mentioned, was it their late realization? No, because they are not honest to themselves. What was their reaction after the fall of previous regime, August last year? They took a huge numbers of atrocities. What was their reaction? When the attack was on the Dhanmondi 32 number Bangabandhu's house and museum, what was the reaction from editor Nurul Kabir? What was the role of Pratham Annual Daily Star? If you go back, then you can connect this. And there is also a saying, you will also repeat, who will move tail or the dog? And Pratham Alo Daily Star, these kind of power players are now the tail of this power machinery now. And it is not invisible. They had clear collaboration with the Islamist forces. Now they are in contradiction with them.
So they are simply shifting faith from one to another. That is what you were saying.
Visibly, but invisibly, their position has not been changed.
Okay. Now, I don't blame anyone for the situation that it was in August. I don't blame that everyone joining hands or joining the chorus to remove Hasina. The situation that was there in July 2024. But the rise of Islamists and what has been happening over the last 15 months has been pretty alarming. Now, I have a question here. Everyone is at that time, there was no hue and cry against Jamaat, right? And even after that, so what, is it like a false flagging of Jamaat or is Jamaat the common enemy? I mean, which one? What I'm trying to mean is that basically it is the Islamist extremist control or activities which are alarming. So, should we blame Jamaat for this?
Not only Jamaat, is there any way to differentiate between the current administration and the Jamaat Islami? They are the main controller or stakeholders of this regime. And in this regime, Pratham Alo, Daily Star, Jamaat Islami, BNP, all these anti-previous regimes is a kind of a club. And Jamaat is one of the major members of this club. And when these Islamist forces are playing a role, definitely they have some sort of consensus. And not only with Jamaat Islami, they have also consensus with other forces. When BNP is silent, when BNP is unable to control the situation, they must be blamed. Let me clarify. If this regime is failed, it will be their collective failure. It is an administration of designed and dreamed by Pratham Alo, Daily Star, BNP, Jamaat Islami, and all anti-Sheikh Hasina forces. So credit and discredit of this regime must be owned by them, all of them.
Asking a side question here. is it that Pratham Alo is owned by an Awami League minded or Awami League businessman?
No. Pratham Alo editor previously was the editor of Borer Kagos. It was owned by Awami League leader Sabir Hussain Chowdhury. When he left Borer Kagos and launched Pratham Alo with the finance from Transcom business group owned by Latifur Rahman, and then he blamed.
I'm told that Latifur Rahman has been a major beneficiary of Hasina rule, particularly in 1996.
It was not as a political line. It was as a businessman. He had good environment to run his business. But the founder of the Daily Star was relative to a diplomat belonged to Awami League, like Syed Muaz Jamali. He was also ambassador in Delhi, and he was also foreign secretary. So they have some, and he was also relative to Syed Mustafa Ali. So that there was in political.
Oh, acha. I met him. I met him. Yeah.
That is the political connections.
Okay. Now, what is your reading? Which way Bangladesh is taking? I mean, it is simply I think Mr. Matiur Rahman has left that clue that things will not be easy for BNP. How do you expect? I mean, given that the situation that has been created over the last 15 months, even if I assume, for argument's sake, that it is only Jamaat to be blamed and Jamaat is there, and so in any case, their ambition has been heightened. So now, if you all of a sudden wake up and say that let's unite against that and let's expect BNP to win and all these things, so in that case, do you think that overnight this situation will change?
Because they are lying to themselves. When Mutiur Rahman was telling to the public in the event yesterday, he mentioned also national consensus, but he did not mention it is an urgent to include Awami League or to have an inclusive election. Without inclusive elections, how one can dream to have national consensus and develop the situation? That is their political agenda, and that was clear both to the progressive people of the country and also to the regressive fanatics group. And why the fanatics people attract on the Delhi Stand Pratham Alo? Because they are assuming Pratham Alo and Daily Star are playing a role, diplomatic role and media role to bring BNP in power. So that was the secret truth. They know that was one of the reasons Pratham Alo and Daily Star is under attack by those forces.
Yeah, right, because if I just join these things, I mean, they are talking as if BNP is in power. I mean, they are not reposing faith on BNP. That can be a case that we support BNP. That can be a case, though that is not a very good thing. But anyway, in Bangladesh's circumstances, that can be a case. But they are saying that BNP will be coming to power with adequate number of seats, with most seats, kind of. That is the more or less the statement. So the question is, how do they know?
Because this is their dream and this is their agenda they want to implement. Because after these elections, if the election could be held and if the new constitutions could be installed, then they are dreaming to go to the parliament, those media and civil society individuals, because there could be an upper house. This upper house would be without elections. They are going to be part of the power And at the same time, when they are benefited from the Western NGO money and Western investments for over the decades, both these civil society groups and the media groups, and the constitution is designed in a way a good number of unelected people will have a control over the power, and then they will have an ability to implement their own agenda, own dreams. And that is why BNP is their better option instead of Jamaat Islami and other forces and Awami League. And BNP has also a good number of weaknesses because they don't have their competent people, they are not well organized, and so it's a kind of a party, a big party with a catastrophe, and that is why they need to collaborate with other stakeholders, Pothomalo and Daily Star, and Pothomalo and Daily Star will be feeling comfort with BNP instead of Jamaat Islami and other forces.
But will that be so easy? Because if I'm aware, or it is told, some people are telling that Pratham Alo and Daily Star is witnessing decline in readership. And in the meantime, in last 1.5 years, there has been loads and loads of media outlets, and the Islamic forces are very active, hyperactive on digital media. So will it be that easy that Prathamalu and Daily Star or whatever? I mean, let's not take names, but for any media organization to dictate opinion. Do you think so?
Media organization is not their ultimate shelter or platform. It is a tool of their business or tool of their politics. They are simply very ambitious player of powers. If you don't forget, Mahfuz Anam was the secretary of the defunct Nagorik Shakti founded by Muhammad Yunus. And Muhammad Yunus was profiled by Daily Star and Pothomalo for many years to make him an international player. And if the media is in difficulty to make profit or function, they will have other agendas. They, as I told you, they could be in parliament, they could be in cabinet, they could have other assignments, other things. They have other businesses, not only the media business. Delhi's media is just you see behind media they have many other businesses. Pothomalo has many other projects. Daily Star has other businesses. So the media business is their face.
Okay. But I'm not convinced about them joining, taking a share of power, because if they wanted to, they could have done that in Yunus cabinet itself. It was, you know, they all actually were ready to give grant Dr. Yunus long time. If I remember that May 2025 editorial or by Mr. Anam saying that don't leave us, please. So, so why didn't they take power in Yunus regime then?
Because I don't know why they did not take power, but what I can say, their people are in power. And let me mention Asif Nazrul, Ali Imam Muzumdar, Soyed Rizwan Hassan, Brigadier Shakawat Hussain, and
The Home Minister.
Previously home advisor.
No, the present home advisor too.
Yeah. So all these were produced by as civil society voices, known profiles through the support of Daily Star and Prothomalo. If you go back to the archives of these papers, they were profiled, they were offered platforms to make their voice heard, and this is the way to bring their political agenda or power agenda on board. And after the election, you never know what will happen. And another ambition is profile like Motiur Rahman and Mahuzana, they hold a capacity or dream a capacity to run the country as a leader. Instead of they became editor and they want to dictate the regime or administrations. If BNP could form the government after the elections, they are dreaming to dictate this new power structure.
So, if I understand you correctly, you are saying that they are supporting BNP because BNP is easier to dictate, but
Yes,
not Jamaat.
yes,
Jamaat is very organized.
yeah.
Now, the another question. Now, let me go to the Army League part. You said that you rightly pointed out about a very curated, selective election, which is destined to produce a manufactured outcome. Now, one catch over here is that this is not merely an election. There is a referendum added to it, which is a super parliament. So that is how to look at it. It is not as easy. Do you think that, as many people think, that no, referendum, nothing is going to happen out of it? But I don't think so. What is your opinion about it? This referendum can be a serious problem for Bangladesh in the days to come. My personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. And this is their hidden agenda also, because this referendum will, in a way, will kill Bangladesh. The Bangladesh we have on the basis of liberation of 1971. So it's simple way it will dismiss our independence 1971. And all the stakeholders surrounding this referendum must be responsible for these consequences. So it will not be easy. That's why a good number of power collaborators are in a serious mission to join hand. That is the one secret agenda for BNP, Daily Star and Pratham to join hands with BNP. It's not secret.
Let's wrap up this discussion with Awami League. It is unfortunate that a party which is having the largest loyal voter base in Bangladesh, which always had, uh, is out of the election and out of discussion. You are not in Bangladesh, people are not expected to discuss Awami League. People, so that is what it is. Is it the political process of Yunus administration? They did not include some 15 or odd parties, including Jatiyo Party. So it is about one section of people. I mean, for argument's sake, we can say that 30%, 50% of the people's representative, they were there in the political dialogue, and another 50% was absent. So the 50% will dictate what the other 50% must do. That is a situation. So, what do you think from here? How and what Awami League, what is going to happen to this Awami League issue? It is as if it does not exist. They are behaving as if it does not exist. The Pratham poll said that that Awami League may have around 10% or 15% odd votes. I doubt that. I strongly doubt that, because I have done some dipstick in Bangladesh, and I doubt this data. So, but I'm not anyway. I mean, only an election could tell us that whether they have that vote or not, whether they have more votes or not. So, what is your opinion? What is going to happen to this issue? Will it keep hanging in the air? Do you expect these 50% people, the Jatiyo Party? Jatiyo Party was strong in certain pockets in North Bengal. And so everyone else will fall in line and take all these dictates. So we are heading towards a situation where there will be BNP and there will be Jamaat. So even if you resist Jamaat today, it is tomorrow there will be an election, another election, and Jamaat will have the right to take control because you have created a ground for them. What is your opinion?
Because Pratham is not free from corruption, making dictating journalism. And this serves absolutely is their own manufactured survey. There was another survey by Voice of America last year, and it showed clearly nearly 60% people wants Awami League to be allowed to their political practice or activities program. And the relevance of Awami League is deeper than before. Economy is not functioning, daily life is not functioning, security, there is no security. Situation is like almost civil war. GDP during Sheikh Hasina's time, GDP was around 7%. Now GDP is in less than 3%. Or export, import, everything is affected. Educational institution is not functioning, and young people of two Awami League families or Awami League supporters are not allowed to go to school, to take part in exams, and people are still forced to resign.
I agree with you. I saw one or two news where someone from Awami League was going to, Awami League family or so on. I mean, going to attend or Chhatra League leader or Chhatra League activist, whatever. Even probably in school exams, SSC exam or something. So going and they were not allowed to sit the exam. You're right.
And this is a Prathama laws journalism is kind of crime. How they could dictate the or deny the public support. If you look at their opinion articles or news, every day they are blaming on this previous regime, but they are not addressing the current problem. And lastly, same following day, when Delhi Star and Pathamalu was attacked, a Hindu minority boy, Deepu Das, was killed on the main road, Moimansingh and Dhaka main road. It was not a remote area. And he was beaten and burned on the street. And one family was attacked in Lakshmipur district. A child was killed by fire.
Let me just add to your point. Dipu Chandra Das is not merely, and I'm saying this with all the conviction, is not merely a case of killing of another Hindu. It
No.
was it. He was stripped. He was beaten. He was hanged alive and burnt.
Yeah.
It was a major statement against minorities.
Yeah. And what is their role? Can you imagine? There was an administration, there is a police, there was military, there is a society, there is a humanity.
Police released him. Police handed him over to these people,
Yeah.
to these
Then
killers.
why and how they can dream? They are making the country better and will be better. What is the rule of Delhi and Pathamalu? Why are they are not blaming on the government? Because to hide these hundreds of such cases, they are making very minor and silly case. The Delhi and Pathamalu attack is a big issue. And let me mention one thing. A majority Western diplomats play their role like an one-eyed devil, Cyclope. Why they did not give a statement on those things, human rights issues, instead of they are making a statement on the Delhi and Pathamalu issues. They did not mention more than 30 journalists are on the roof of the Daily Stars. It was their life risk, but those things are hide now. Now they are focusing on the attack on the buildings. And why those diplomats were silent when the attack was on the Dhanmondi 32 museums were attacked, many sculptures were demolished, many minority families were attacked. Why they were silent? Why now are they making their voice? Because it is a collective purpose to hide the serious issue and bring the minor issue on the table. Danish company is taking the port from Bangladesh. Dutch company is taking the port of Bangladesh. All these things are connected.
Thanks, Anisur. I do not subscribe. I mean, that's of course your opinion about Pratham and Daily Star and etc. I personally I don't subscribe to all those things. But on the issue of minorities, I must say Bangladeshi media should be held responsible for the state of affairs. It was hidden under the carpet. I have seen them writing that the Indian media is exaggerating and all those things. But I know Bangladesh. I have visited Bangladesh many times, and I have visited even the fear this time is unbelievable fear that they had. And one such incident, you don't have to do hundreds of such incidents. One incident is enough, that Dipu Chandra Das. So thank you for being here, and I wish that in future we have to speak more, because this country is sitting on a time bomb, in my understanding. You just cannot do this. You cannot rule out 50%. You spoke so much about democracy, and then you are doing an election with some people, your chosen people. So, very interesting case. Thanks once again.